Podcastica.
What's going on, everybody? Welcome to the podcast. I'm Ben.
And I'm Mark.
And this is our wrapping up coverage of Monarch Legacy of Monsters.
It's the last one. We're covering Monarch Legacy of Monsters Season 1, Episode 10, Beyond Logic.
We'll see. We'll see if it's going to be just Season 1. I don't think it is, but we'll see.
Me neither.
But we are welcoming some guests in for this episode. We mentioned it last week. And we knew they wanted to be a part of this. We knew they even wanted to cover it on their podcast, but unfortunately, time was of a restraint, so they weren't able to do it. But welcome to our coverage of the season finale from the Run for Your Lives podcast on Podcastica, Daphne and Pake. Hey! You guys did want to cover this, didn't you?
Yeah. We talked about it initially because we've covered all the Monsterverse movies on our podcast. And so with it, spinning off a TV show, we were like, oh, we got to be all over that. And then it just, the release schedule and things just didn't work for us, which is a bummer. And then I was like, somebody has to cover this. And so when you guys took up the helm, it was like, yes, somebody's on it, but we have to talk about it at some point. We have to be on. It took us till the finale, but we're here.
We're here, yeah.
But you know what? I mean, of all episodes for you guys to come on, the finale is probably the best one.
That is true.
Because we're wrapping up the story of this season. We're opening up some doors for a potential season 2, and we'll see where it's going to go.
Yeah.
It's exciting.
But before we get into, the actual conversation for the season finale, without going into too much detail for you two, what have been your overall thoughts on this season?
You want to go first, Daphne?
Sure. I have really enjoyed this season a lot. I love the tie-ins that they've done to the movies and just the overall look of the monsters, I think has been fantastic. They use their budget very wisely, I think, in making sure that they got the most bang for their buck. Mm-hmm. When you see Godzilla, it's the perfect time to see Godzilla. It's big, it's powerful, it's impactful. And then we get to this finale and we get to see Kong. So to me, they've done...
Did I miss something?
No, we get to see Kong. He
was the party crasher.
Yes. So excited because Kong Skull Island is probably my favorite movie of the Monsterverse. And for them to be in Skull Island is just fantastic. But, overall, I just really loved the feel of this. I think just all the connections made it even better.
Mm-hmm. How about you, Pake?
I did enjoy it. I will be very honest. It has ups and downs for me. There were some lulls. There were some moments where I was like, all right, where are they taking this? Where is it going? However, the lows were forgivable and bearable, and the highs were incredibly high. So I will give them that. There's so many right from the jump, and I know you guys talked about it from the start, the casting genius of Kurt and Wyatt Russell as the same character in two timelines. Oh, yeah. Amazing. And I was like, yeah, I'm cool with that. And then, I know there's more people online who've been complaining about, there's too many talky dramas things and not enough monsters. And it's like, I'm not one of those people. I'm going to be like, no. The legacy of Monarch. Like, it's about the family dynamic. That's the point of this show.
Yeah.
If you just want monsters, like, you're in for something different. But when you felt like, man, it's been a while since I've seen it. Wow, there we are. Okay, we're good to go. Like, they made sure to keep you tuned in. I was never like, do I want to watch the next episode? No. The way they'd wrap up an episode, the things they left hanging, I was always ready to bite for more. I was super in the entire time.
Yeah. I mean, that's always one of the biggest complaints when the movies come out. Anytime they release in theaters, it's like, it's too much talking. I want more monsters.
Yeah.
Go watch a Toho movie then. Like, that's not what these are about. Right. This series was meant to be more about the people than the monsters. The monsters were secondary.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. They're important to the story, but they're secondary, and there's no need to apologize either for the highs and the lows, because Mark and I have expressed that over the course of this.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Episode 4, we're going to keep talking about it. Episode 4 is a major low is the lowest point of the series, because again, Kentaro fever dreams. It's just
right.
Pencil shavings in the wind.
I was maybe in the minority of that one. At least I thought the May backstory was actually really like interesting, like the way that they met and like that stuff. I was really into it, honestly. But yeah, I get it.
Yeah, our biggest complaint with that was had nothing to do with May. It was just we didn't feel the chemistry between Kentaro and May.
Yeah,
Kiersey Clemens and the actor that plays Kentaro, we just were not feeling that chemistry at all.
Right.
So it fell a little flat for us. And then the Kentaro stuff was kind of like, what is happening? What is going on? Like,
who gave him the lithium?
Yeah, why are we back at your art installation? That's just weird. Like, it is,
It was an acid trip. I mean, that's what it seemed like.
That's what I said. It's a Kentaro fever dream.
Yeah.
But you're right. I think the lows even were tolerable to get through. There were some moments that felt like filler, but monsters hit at the right moments. They hit at the right beats. And I will second, third, fourth, fifth, the genius that was Kurt and Wyatt. It was just,
so good.
Masterful.
That blending was perfect and just the representation of Lee Shaw.
And some of the cinematography use of using the two of them for scene transitions was brilliant.
Having Kurt Russell turn around and the projection of Wyatt Russell's face of the video on top of his face will live in my head forever. It's like a really great shot choice. Yeah.
It was very clever. They did a lot of clever things. And you're right, Ben, the casting left that to be a possibility. They were able to do it. And that, to me, it was clever right from the start to be able to tell the stories. What better person to play the younger version?
Well,
Wyatt.
And I had even said before that projector moment, and Mark can attest to this too, I had even said, like, I don't know how it would be possible, but it would be really cool if somehow they were able to get Kurt and Wyatt to share the screen together.
Yeah.
And then literally the next episode, we get that projector moment. And I'm like, well, that's how you do it.
There you go.
And it was amazing.
I love when shows will get into your head. And it's like you'll have opinions about a show, and it's like the creators are in your head pulling out all the cool things that you want to happen, and then some of them do. I just get excited when that happens.
Yeah. Well, Mark can even attest too, again, to this, is that over the course of covering this series, one of my favorite parts about it was, as we're going through, we're making these different theories, many of which actually came to pass.
Oh, yeah.
And then the further we would get into the series, every time one of our theories would actually come true or was proven to be true, we would make, well, not we, I would make another theory that was just way more out of the realm of possibility.
Yeah, that was a bit out there, the last one. But I made one that was really out there as well last episode, and that didn't happen either.
No, the last theory that I made that it turned out not to be true, and I'm actually really happy it turned out not to be true, was what if Kay was able, all those beetles that climbed on her and pulled her in, what if she trained them?
Yeah, how to train a beetle.
And she was able to control those titans now. Like, I'm so glad that didn't happen.
How to tame a titan.
Yeah, how to tame a titan.
It's a new YouTube series that's going to be coming out as soon as Kay learns how to use YouTube.
It's Monarch season 2. It's Monarch Tame a Titan.
Animated.
Yeah, good luck with that.
It's like Camp Crustacean from Jurassic Park. It's Monarch Tame a Titan. That's the new animated series from Apple.
Yes.
But you mentioned, Daphne, the budget and how they used the budget really well.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it amazes me because you know how big budget this show probably was because of the amount.
Yeah.
But, you know, Apple does have that I tricked you into buying a new phone every year money. So sorry, apologies, Apple. We love you. You gave us, special thanks as we always do for screeners. Can't poke fun. You gave us the screeners to cover and allowed us to cover the series. So Let's dive into the episode.
Yeah.
You know, season 10, episode 10, Beyond Logic. Pake or Daphne, kick us off. Where do you want to start at the beginning? Do you want to go through? Let's just start it.
All right. I mean, my notes are still just kind of in order of as I took them while watching, so kind of chronologically through the episode. But I guess a place to start, where we started in the episode, is in the Axis Mundi, as Keiko calls it, this kind of world between worlds. Which maybe you guys have talked about this. I immediately loved the color scheme of the energy in there. Because it's just very Godzilla versus Kong. It's that orange-blue color scheme, which is really fun. But yeah, which this goes back to the ending of episode 9. But I remember my jaw dropping, and I was like, oh, she's alive. And then it was like, I mean, I kind of figured that was going to happen, like the entire series. Like I was like, I expected it the whole time, but it still somehow was not any less amazing when it happened. I was like, yeah. So
that's how we were too. Like we've been predicting it for ever since she fell down into that hole.
Right.
We were like, we're pretty sure Kay's probably still alive. Is she still alive? Well, maybe she's still alive. No, we think she's still alive. And then even just that big reveal of her at the end of episode 9, we talked about it last week. I was still like, fuck yeah.
Yep.
Called it.
Yeah. It was great.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So,
I was super excited to see that. I was hoping for it, but I didn't know.
I do have a question though that maybe you guys can help me with. I was a little confused in that she called it Axis Mundi and they called it the world between worlds. Is this not Hollow Earth?
See,
I think it's Hollow Earth.
Well, I thought it was at first too. I thought it was at first too. My notes even were like, oh, they're Hollow Earth or in Hollow Earth. But yeah, then she calls it this Axis Mundi, which is like between heaven and earth, and this world between worlds kind of idea. And then she said it's pieces of our world and pieces of theirs. How she knows all this, who knows? But
and she's only been there for what, 57 days?
57 days, yeah.
But
not long enough.
If you just kind of, roll with it, because we think about Godzilla versus Kong, the Hollow Earth we saw is different than this.
Yeah,
it's very vibrant and alive and flush. This doesn't seem like that.
Yeah. It actually reminds me of something, and I'm just gonna go out there. If you remember, I'm gonna use a Flash Gordon reference, but literally Mongo was based upon layers. And you have your regular planet, then you have another layer that's in between skies hovering, and then you have something else above it. I'm thinking that's what this is. This might be a section of Hollow Earth, but above Hollow Earth. Might be a form of it, a form of land that's hovering above. Because in Kong versus or Godzilla versus Kong, we do see something like that with Kong jumping through all the throughout Hollow Earth, but you see stuff in the sky that looks like land hovering above him.
Mm-hmm.
So it could be a possibility of that as being another plateau within Hollow Earth,
and not only that, there is the whole thing in Godzilla versus Kong in which they needed those special vehicles to actually get to Hollow Earth. They weren't able to just fall in. Anybody fall in was killed. And then we kind of questioned, well, then how do these guys survive getting to Hollow Earth this way too? The answer to that question might be, this is not Hollow Earth.
Right.
This is somewhere in between.
Pit stop along the way.
Yeah. Yeah. It's a pit stop. Exactly. Because it does look very barren. It looks completely different than the Hollow Earth that we have. So Axis Mundi, most likely what we were assuming is Hollow Earth, is not Hollow Earth.
Mm-hmm.
True.
Because you also have to remember too, the whole thing with there being time travel because of gravitational fluxes and everything going from Axis Mundi to Earth, is the reason why, Shaw was down there for 20 years when it only was like a week for him. Kate's been down there 57 days, but it's been 30 plus years. When they finally get back up, it's 2 years later. Although I do have a theory about that when we talk about that. But yet when they go to Hollow Earth in Godzilla X Kong or Godzilla versus Kong, there's no time travel. Like it's just normal because the gravitation and everything, all of this physics working differently is in Axis Mundi. It's not in Hollow Earth.
Yeah. Which then makes me wonder because I had kind of a theory of oh, well, maybe Hollow Earth has even a more intense time imbalance. But no, because you brought that up, I had forgotten about that. That they went there and came back, and it was all within the same time frame.
Yeah.
So it kind of puts a squash on a theory that I had, because I was like, oh, the time imbalance, the way that it's done, does make perfect sense as far as like, because you wonder, okay, these Titans, they're treated like just animals in this world. Like they're looked at as like, yeah, they're animals. They're just different. They're bigger. There is something special about them. They can travel through this rift to, this world. But it's like they seem timeless and immortal. And it's like, well, how is that? It's like, well, if they spend all their time here, then, centuries can go by without them aging at all, really, barely. So, but then if they're spending time in Hollow Earth, like proper, then I don't know about that theory. So.
Well, the other thing too, and this is the thing I was going to say I'll talk about later, but I'll actually bring it up now because anybody who's listening knows our conversations can jump all over the place. Talking about this Hollow Earth Access Money being different theory now, and we're talking about, well, Hollow Earth maybe time doesn't work differently on there. Let's not forget that's also 2021, I believe, is when Godzilla X Kong happens. So it's a number of years later in the legendary timeline. And I don't know if anybody else picked it up, but at the end of the episode, when the sphere is returning, it diverts in the rift. It doesn't go straight. There's a diversion. It's pulled to the side.
And they made sure to show that like it meant something.
Yeah. So I think that's because Kintaro, Ken, and Axis, and Apex figured out a way to kind of manipulate it a little bit, to pull it back to a particular time. That's why it was only 2 years, not 30.
Right.
So maybe as a couple years pass and we get to 2021, the manipulation is even better, that they can actually control the time frame of when they go in and when they return.
Okay. Yeah, and it's been a while since I've watched Godzilla vs. Kong, so I don't know if they talk about time in those.
I don't remember either.
Machinery, and those implements and stuff as much. It's been a little bit.
They do.
They don't. I checked it out last week.
Yeah, I think the only thing they really make sure to mention is that they need a vehicle to get there, because you can't just jump in and survive. Yeah. But that also might be because there's manipulation involved now. You can't manipulate anything if you just fall in.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I think, there's that's one of the things that makes a great finale is it leaves you with more questions, which is why we need a season 2.
We definitely do.
But that is something we have to correct, Mark. You and I talked about last week, and that I had made mention that I thought Shaw was only down there for a couple of hours, but he says in this episode what felt like a week.
Yeah. So
it was a number of days he was down there.
He said he was there for only about a week or two, to be exact. I actually took notes. And yeah. And then she said that she was down there for 57 days.
Yep.
So.
Yeah. Daphne, how about you?
Well, I thought it was what was pretty sad is once Shaw did get back, they sent him to live in a home away from other people.
Yeah. Well, they isolated him.
They isolated him. And I thought that was really sad to see him, all the involvement that he had in everything that he was doing. And he had to deal with coming back, and his 2 favorite people, one had died before, but then he comes back and finds out that Bill Randa is also dead. And Hiroshi is all grown up, and then he has to go off to live in this home. And then you see him as, the younger Randa, the younger Randa, and then the older Randa just taking medication, reminding me a lot of One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest, where people are just medicated and that's their life.
Yeah.
And this character that we've gotten to know, you just feel really bad about. I mean, it disappointed me.
Well, that was last episode.
They did to him.
Yeah, it was last episode too. But yeah, we had mentioned that last week when we covered the series, in that the most disappointing part to me, that was kind of what led me to believe that we were possibly getting a Lee Shaw sacrifice in this.
Yeah.
Because that was the end of Wyatt Russell's story. We
Yeah.
weren't going to get any more Wyatt Russell. And then what do you need Lee Shaw for after that?
Right. Which I had a feeling he would sacrifice himself for Keiko and really for all of them. However, you've talked about this idea of a season 2. I think they planted some seeds that if we get a season 2, which they feel, I've seen something that they feel confident that it's a very high possibility, that maybe we put together a team and go back for Lee Shaw.
Yeah. Yeah, it could be Hiroshi
I don't think Kurt Russell is necessarily done with this show.
and Ken. Yeah.
Well, we had mentioned, for those of you listening right now, we're actually recording this before the episode airs. So we've been saying for a while that if there's an announcement of a season 2, it's most likely going to be right after the finale.
Mhm.
So at the time we're recording this, the finale hasn't technically aired. So we don't know yet if there's a season 2. We might talk about it later in the episode because Mark and I will be recording again all the feedback after the episode airs. So this is recording in 2 parts. But as of now, there has been no season 2 announcement.
Mm-hmm.
I think we're going to get it.
I think so.
Yeah, I think so too. It would be interesting if they, like, for the fact the way they left it off as Lee being dropped, there could be a crew that goes back for him. We could still get flashbacks with Wyatt based upon, hey, we're looking at it in Lee Shaw's memory of when he was back there on Axis Monday and like during those 2 weeks, and he'll remember key locations, and then you see his adventure and then people coming for him and in his survival as a 90-year-old man. And then have them come back.
He's not 90, he's in his 70s.
Yeah, but in real time, he's 90. Like,
no, in his real time, he's in his 70s.
In his real time, yes, but I liked how he approached Keiko and just hid behind the tree and just talked it out with her first and saying, when I came here before, I went back and it had been 20 years. It's not the same. You know, he talked her through it.
Man.
Because this was a huge, thing for her to have to deal with. To me, this was a very emotional episode. There was a lot of emotion.
Yeah. Yeah, I mentioned they're the ups and downs, but I will say that the Kiko and Shaw reunion in this episode was one of the most emotional things I've seen in a while. I'm just sitting there, literally tearing up, just wow. Because she's learning about Bill's death, that her little boy has grown up and has children, or at least this one child that she knows of at the time. There's a lot to take in, plus all the time she's missed. And I have to give it to Kurt Russell. Again, as you mentioned, he's hiding because it's I'm about to drop a bunch of heavy shit on you. Let's not start with, also I'm old and all this time has gone by.
Yeah.
But the way that there's a little crack and pain in his voice when he delivers the line, he says, that was 33 years ago. There's a way that when he says that, you're like, oh, he knows what he's saying right there is crushing her, and it's hard for him to get it out. And I thought that was a really cool choice in delivery.
Well, just the fact that the way he approached it, the way he's hiding behind the tree so that Keiko can't see him as he's dropping these literal bombs on her, not literal, figurative bombs on her. That goes to show you right there that it was more about her than him.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
The way he treated her in that moment, he didn't make it about himself at all. And, we've seen it in the past that there's been hints about his true feelings for Keiko. And that was a prime example of it. And you're right. In my older age, I have become a huge sap. It is incredibly easy to make me tear up and get me choked up. And that scene was one of 2 that got me choked up in this episode. The other one was Keiko and Hiroshi.
Yes.
Yes. And I just love the whole with Lee and his scene with Keiko. Not only was that him building up that his emotions and how to explain it to Keiko, but also that look of happiness of I'm not crazy. She was alive all this time, and my journey back then was right, and my journey now is right too. Because you could see that relief and that him smiling too at that point. as well as swallowing up with all the other emotions involved with telling her the truth of what happened while she was gone.
He had to tell her that her husband was dead.
Yeah.
And that was just so upsetting. I mean, this was a lot for her to have to accept.
And a few minutes.
Yeah, it was an emotional tug of war for her.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, she was told she went from being happy that Lee was there and she was seeing other people to being told that Bill was dead and her son grew up.
Mm-hmm.
And by the way, this is your granddaughter.
Yeah.
Yeah. There were a lot of reunions in this episode. I feel like that's a lot to talk about in itself.
Well, I also like the fact too that in that reunion that Lee did not drop the bomb that Kate was her granddaughter.
No.
Right. Yeah.
He let Kate do that.
Yeah.
Yes.
Which was big. I mean, that was, for her to realize that. And
then Kate actually states that Kentaro is her grandson as well at the very end, and after she saw Hiroshi.
It's the first time.
Cool. Yeah.
I feel referred to him as her brother.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
Kate. Go ahead.
Sorry. I'm like, I have a note about that. I'm so excited.
Talk about. It's so hard.
Yeah, no, because I know you're probably saying the same thing. So but I was just like, I'm excited because if you're not going to say it, yeah, it's just echo what you said, so you can continue on with it. But that it's a very personal arc for Kate, like a big moment for her because the first time they met, like she hated Kentaro. Like there's so much animosity and like contempt for him, and it's not necessarily because of him personally. It's just this. She looks at him and he's like, he is a product of my father's infidelity, all the lies that I've been fed my whole life. And then we go here to the end where she's literally introducing him and here's my brother. And I thought it's really cool. Of course, there's a lot more that they're going to have to run through Keiko. Mm-hmm. It gets a lot more complicated, but we're keeping it simple for now.
Yeah. Keiko's going to start smacking Hiroshi around. What are you doing? Why did you cheat on your wife?
Well, there's so much. I mean, Keiko herself has like multiple reunions with people, and then Kentaro has his reunion with his father. That was not the nicest, sweetest moments when they first get back together and he finds him in his office and asks him what he's doing there. And, Kentaro is like, he wants to do something, but he's really pissed at his father for the whole story of thinking that he and his mother were the family when there was this whole other family going on.
Yeah. Well, he also had to explain that to Emiko himself when he shows up at the apartment packing his things saying he's going back to San Francisco. And you could see she is pretty much done with him as it is. And he said he was going to start filing stuff for the divorce. But then him and Kentaro had that conversation, and then later on they had that interaction again.
I wonder how the lawyer is going to take filing a divorce after having a death certificate.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because I think he's been declared dead at this point. Or maybe just assumed dead and not technically declared dead yet. I don't know.
And they're going to be like, you owe back taxes in Japan and in the United States.
There's a lot of red tape and paperwork that's going to be involved in unraveling all of this. Maybe he wants to run away again.
This is a first for me as a lawyer. You owe alimony to 2 women.
I loved
and child support.
I loved the Emiko. Like she just basically told him, you need to be in your son's life, and then she takes her wedding ring and puts it on the box.
Oh yeah.
And I just was like, way to empower yourself in this situation.
I had to feel good. It's like she's been bottling up a lot because it's like, I thought you were dead, and then you're not. But then you've also been cheating on me. And it's like, it's a lot to deal with. And it's a very mic drop moment. She's like, you need to be in your son's life. And you've meant a lot to me. And through everything you've done for me, you're a good man. But like, we're done. It was just very big. Yeah.
And just think if he ever meets up with Kate's mom, Because Kate's mom already has a guy in the wings waiting for her.
I
Anyway.
know.
And I mean, there's a lot of, we've talked about it already. There's a lot of seeds planted for a season 2. There's
Yes.
there's more interaction with Hiroshi, and I want to call her Yumiko because that's her name in the Karate Kid, but that's not her name in this.
Cobra Kai.
I want to call her Yumiko, but that's not her name. There's more interaction between that. We have, as you mentioned, Mark, there's more we can do with Lee Shaw if we wanted to bring Wyatt Russell back, because there's a week or two in Access Monday that they could kind of throw in there to use as a way to bring that back. There's the 2 years that Kentaro and Tim and Apex have been working on that. And then not only that, but in that interaction between Kentaro and Hiroshi, we saw last week Hiroshi, when he sees Lee, blaming his family for everything and wanting to stay as far away from it as possible, to this episode wanting to prove his family right.
Yeah.
What happened in all that time that changed that?
Yeah.
How do we get here? How did we get here? Because it is a little bit confusing because you don't have the in-between story yet.
Yeah.
Which we could get for season 2. Like, that's more of what they can do.
I could use more Hiroshi to like really build him up as a character, because honestly, I still have a hard time seeing him as a sympathetic figure. I want to know. I'll be honest. I'm a bad friend, and I haven't listened to all of your coverage of this show. I've listened to bits and pieces in some episodes, but so maybe why I'm saying that is because maybe you've talked about this stuff before. But like, I want to know what are your views on Hiroshi as a whole? Like I said, I still struggle with it because it's like you had 2 secret families that you're keeping from each other, and then you abandon both of them, letting, even if the wreck was real, like you survived, and instead of going to them, you're like, let's just play this whole fake death situation because now it gives me more free time to continue on my pursuits. Like, yes, we get it. You're trying to do something important, but it's very selfish and hurtful towards the people that love you. And so it's still hard for me to view him as a sympathetic person.
Well, I feel like it's almost, they talk a lot about how Bill Randa kind of went the tin hat route. I feel like Hiroshi almost kind of did the same thing. I feel like there was some kind of switch that, because we talked about this last episode as well, we made the theory that the nurse that Lee Shaw holds hostage is potentially Emiko.
I thought so too.
I think it is. Absolutely.
I think it is. And then Hiroshi says in this episode, would you have preferred it if I didn't fall in love with your mother? Meaning, because we already know Kate is older than Hiroshi. Kate is the older sister. So in that moment, if that nurse was Emiko, that was the moment that those two met. Mm-hmm. And Hiroshi already had a family at home.
And that, Kentaro, is how I met your mother.
Yeah. Well done. Well done. Points for that. So yeah, so there's, I feel like in that moment, he really did probably still love Yumiko. It's not still love, not Yumiko. And Emiko. Now it's getting confusing because they sound similar.
Yes.
But then maybe as we just mentioned, something happens that changes his opinion, that he wants to prove his family right rather than blame them for everything. And I feel like maybe that's Hiroshi's tin hat moment. The same thing with Bill. Bill went through the same thing. He had a theory, wanted to prove it, and he kind of drove him crazy. I'm not defending Hiroshi in any way by saying that, but I feel like Hiroshi had his Bill Randa moment and had something that just made him kind of think about nothing else but that. If that's my opinion on Hiroshi. I agree with you. I don't think he's an incredibly sympathetic character. However, I don't know about you guys, but in the moment that we see Hiroshi step forward when they all return right before that reunion, I almost feel like that's a different Hiroshi.
Yes. Yeah, I got that feeling too.
I feel like he's had to deal with his
all this pain.
Yeah.
Well, he also had to deal with the pain of his family. He lost his father. And before that, he long lost his mother. And now his mother's come back. And I feel bad for Keiko because she's coming back after how many years? 56 years?
Something.
57. Well, yeah.
56 years or something like that, or if you say 58 years because they're 2 years later from the time that they all dropped in anyway to the
Access Monday.
Access Monday. No, I'm sorry, I forget
Not
it.
Monday.
Access Monday. Welcome to Access Monday on E Network.
Yeah, that's a new song by Access Monday.
To spin off of Blue Monday.
Yep.
She's going to
Yep.
start feeling like John C. Reilly, who also played what in Kong Skull Island, ladies and gentlemen?
Hank Marlowe.
Marlowe.
God damn you, Mark.
I mean, really though, Mark's right. I mean, let's look at it. Hank Marlowe was lost on Skull Island, and
Yeah,
then
but
came
not-
back so much. At least the years went by;
Yeah.
they were actually happening. But he had to come back and acclimate to the world again.
Yeah.
Yes, he did.
She's having to do that as well.
And I love
But
how
I mean, like-
Lee actually talked about that too. He goes, "Yeah, TV's got bigger and flatter, and there's more of them around. You can do everything with your phone." Well,
I
we went to the
actually-
moon.
I actually really, really liked Lee's explanation of the future to
Mhm.
Keiko. It was so simple and oddly comforting at the same time to make her really not feel like she missed too much. You know, mentioning that TVs are flat and everybody's got one, you know, gizmos and like telephones do a lot more. We went to the moon, but I missed that one too because, you know, I was here. You know, and
played
then
it
he's like,
down.
he
Really,
did,
He played
like,
it all down.
you know, but other than that, you know, like conflicts, resolutions, mothers, fathers, families. I'm like, yeah, like
It hasn't changed.
it hasn't changed.
People are people, and it's still
Yep.
the world that you could live in and be part
Yeah.
of.
Yeah.
Although I did like the conversation that they were jokingly saying later, like assuming when they returned, it was going to be years in the future. And like, they were like, well, I just can't wait to get back to flying cars and
Yeah. Robot butlers and stuff.
robot,
Yeah.
robot butlers. Couldn't think of what one of the other things that was said was.
That sounds
yeah.
a lot like the Jetsons.
Hmm.
That's probably what he was thinking of, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
It could have been what he was referencing. So, but yeah, I mean, it was just so many emotional returns that happened with
Mhm.
this. I got choked up a number of times in this episode. It's so weird. Getting older, man. It's like, you got choked up at a Godzilla television show? Yes.
This happens. It's how it is.
Did you watch it?
It's
So
good
damn
TV.
good, man. It's about a lizard. It's so good.
I did find it interesting, though, that Keiko did have the Titan phone, as we've been so eloquently
Mhm.
calling it.
Yeah.
Which is the one that came down with Shaw.
Mhm.
hmm
Yes, and
So-
she changed it a little bit, and that's why he told her to change it back.
Well, I think she modified it to be
A beacon.
Yes.
Well,
Yeah,
she modified it to be
signal
the
that,
beacon. Yeah.
that Monarch is getting, that Tim is so adamant about following, is this signal that she reversed and sent up. And of course, I'm wondering, it's like, well, he told her to switch it back so that they could leave.
Mhm.
Wouldn't then Tim and them not see that signal anymore? But then I was like, time works differently. It's going to be a way later that actually happens.
Yeah,
So,
exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, we kind of had we had that theory last week, which really wasn't a theory. It was just like, oh, that signal is probably Keiko's. That
Mhm.
was the extent of our theory. And it turned out, you know, we were right, because even Tim says that's probably Kay. You know, there's a chance Kay is still alive. And
Well, Tim had a moment in this episode where he could have just sat down at the Monarch desk and continued on with that work, and he just said no and walked away from it because he felt strongly about doing the right thing, or
Yeah.
at least doing this thing. And that's kind of an arc for his character too, because I felt like he was this Monarch devotee right from the very beginning, and I feel like he's gotten to know the people involved and decided that what they're doing is a much better route, or at least he believes more in what they're doing versus what Monarch was doing.
He wanted to get away from Verdugo, that's all.
he grew an attachment to the Randa clan, and now he's got
Yes.
Rogue. He's
Yeah. But then
Well,
he
because-
sided with somebody that was, hunting down May at one point because of what May had
Yeah.
done to, and which is part of Apex.
Mhm.
well, Tim had you're right, Daphne. Tim kind of had a big learning arc in
Mhm.
this. You know, in the beginning, he's the man in the basement, and then he's brought up to be on the street, and he seems kind of nefarious at that point in the series earlier on, because it looks like he's trying to kidnap May and Kentaro and Kate, and then you find out like he's like, yeah, things didn't go right. Because he went about things the wrong way, and we even said that
course.
was most likely the case.
Mhm.
And
Yeah.
now he is this guy who knows that Monarch's legacy is the Randas, and the Randas are Monarch's legacy. Like they're each other's legacy. These are the people that need to be involved, and he sides with them in the end.
Mhm.
And he walks away from Monarch.
How cool was it that his office was
Bill
Randa's
Randa's office.
Yeah.
I thought that was
awesome.
just fantastic.
Yeah.
Those little things like that just meant something.
Let's
Yeah.
never
Yeah.
fix that wall. It's okay. Leave the hole in the wall from his fist.
Yeah, he left Monarch, but then he goes to work with Apex, which we know, watching the movies, Apex goes on to like build Mecha Godzilla and do all these
Yep.
other ridiculous things. So like, is it really much of a change? But
No.
but it makes me wonder, like, and what do you guys think? The characters from this show, what role, if any, do they even play a role in the film franchise, in the Monsterverse? Do we see any of these characters cross over? Do we see any mentions? Does this show? How does the show affect the films?
I honestly think this is one of the things I really hope we're going to get in season 2, if and when there is a season 2.
Mm-hmm.
I think we need Serizawa. We need Serizawa to make the appearance, because
Yes, 100%.
the way this season ends, it makes it look like Monarch is the villain and Apex is the savior.
Mhm.
And we know from the future of the Legendary Timeline that is not the case.
No.
It is quite the opposite. Monarch, I think at this point, is still trying to find itself, which is why it seems like it's the villain. But as you mentioned, Pake, Apex is the one behind Mechagodzilla.
Mhm.
They are the big bad. They are the
Yeah.
big bad company. I think we need to see an arc in season 2 where Kentaro, Tim, Kate, the rest of the Randa clan, they need to learn the true intentions of Apex.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Now,
Yeah.
timeline wise, because you say Serizawa, like Ichiro Serizawa is dead in this timeline already, where they're at.
Oh, that's right. He died in Godzilla.
In King of the Monsters.
King of the
One
Monsters.
of the
Yeah.
Well,
monsters.
no,
So-
he's still alive because King of the
He's
Monsters has
still
not
alive.
happened yet.
Yeah,
Nope.
I
King of the
have
Monsters
Where
is
this
2019.
ends with Apex.
We're in
With Kong there.
2017, aren't we?
They're
We're in
on the-
2017.
Yeah.
Are we?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, yeah. With
It's only 2 years later.
Yep.
So
Yeah.
Serizawa is still alive.
Because they have the
So far,
Apex
yeah.
base on Skull Island, which I was connecting to Godzilla versus Kong,
Which
Like
we're
they'd
still
skip-
years away from.
which they had
Mhm.
skipped over King of the Monsters, but maybe not.
It's like before Jurassic Park became Jurassic Park, they put stuff on Skull Island.
Because again, it's been a while since I've watched the movie, so I was like, "Oh, King of the Monsters," and I was like, "Oh, well, they're already on Skull Island with this
No.
base." So
King of the
We're-
Monsters is they are currently in 2017. King of the
Mhm.
Monsters is 2019.
okay, so
Godzilla
they're
versus
still-
Kong is 2021.
So they're still on their way to that.
Actually,
Yes.
I looked up a timeline when I was doing prep for this. Godzilla vs. Kong, according to this timeline, was 2024.
Okay.
Not
Well, so then we're
2021.
still a number of
Okay,
years.
Right.
Yeah,
we're still
some
earlier.
years.
Yeah.
So this is
So-
like a little early hint at Kong
Yeah.
before he
Yeah.
actually shows back up. In
I
this
know.
legendary
Well, because-
timeline.
Well, because remember at the end of this episode, they're locking down because of Kong. But in Godzilla versus Kong, they
They're like
kind
working
of
with
have
him. Yeah.
they're working with him. They have him in captivity because they have that little girl that kind of
Yes.
connects to him. So
Yeah.
we haven't seen that yet. Actually, at this point, that little girl is probably an infant.
Mhm.
Yep.
True. Yeah, and
Because-
they don't have a barrier around the island too,
No.
around the
That's a
sky.
good point. So thanks for that.
Yeah.
You're kind of clearing things up. So then it makes more sense with another note where I'm like, okay, so if we get a season 2, it's going to go into King of the Monsters stuff because Verdugo and Monarch is paying attention to all these imminent monster threats all over the map, and I was like, well, that sets up King of the Monsters. Although
It
Vera
does.
Farmiga, her character in King of the Monsters has this other device that also lures them out and makes it worse. I don't know if they'll tie into all that or not.
Yeah.
Well, look, when car phones came out, they were freaking the size of like duffel bags, and now they fit in our pocket.
Right.
So we've
Yes.
seen the duffel bag version of the Titan phone.
We have, yeah.
And then in King of the Monsters, we get the pocket version.
The Nintendo version.
Yeah.
But that is a good point. That probably is a future version
Mhm.
of what we're seeing now in
Yeah.
Legacy of Monsters.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't even really
Yeah.
think about that.
When I looked up the timeline, because I wanted to get it straight in my head before we were talking about it, and Monarch, Legacy of Monsters fits right in between Godzilla and King of the Monsters. So it's
Mhm.
like it's sandwiched right in there, and they can make that go for as long as they want to, really. I mean,
yeah.
depending on what story they want to tell. But I think you're right, and about it potentially tying into King of the Monsters. I'm excited about that because the monsters we got to see in this were really well done, and I want to see what else they'll uncover as they go forward because I really enjoyed King of the Monsters.
Yeah.
I was
I did
wondering
too.
if they were going to try to tie it into New Empire, but they've still got plenty of years of stories to tell. between
Oh,
now
big
and then. So
time.
yeah,
Yeah. So Ben, I'm with you. I want Serizawa to be tied into this.
I want Serizawa in season 2.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I
sure.
think it would be.
And that could
I think it
happen.
would be good, even if it's in flashback form.
Mm-hmm.
You know, because we're going to see him heavily involved later on.
Mm-hmm.
Because you're right. 2014 was the Godzilla attack on San Francisco. That was whatever they class it, G-Day.
Yes.
2015 is Legacy of Monsters. 2017 is now Legacy of Monsters. And then 2019 is King of Monsters. So they're kind of square in the middle in between on that timeline. So, but there's a long way to go because if, as you mentioned, Godzilla versus Kong is 2024, then there's still another 5 more years
Yeah.
after King of Monsters.
I mean, unless that timeline's wrong. And you know what? It's the internet, so it could be wrong. I'm not really sure.
No,
But
I believe it.
One other thing I just found is, according to this wiki, Verdugo was actually reprimanding Tim in episode 3 and mentioned and questioned him and said, why did you not consult me or Dr. Serizawa first
Yeah, I remember
before that?
Yeah, he's mentioned.
He's mentioned. So I think we have to see him.
Yeah,
I mean,
I do
think
too.
he needs to be in there. I agree.
it'd be nice to see him again.
I think Serizawa needs to
agree.
be. I think Serizawa needs to be the linchpin that brings the Randa family back to Monarch
Yeah.
in season 2.
And then Tim back to Monarch too. And then we could see them for how they're helping the world too. They might be the people that helps Monarch get back to taking care of the world. Because like you said before, Ben, with previous episodes, they were going there when disaster sites from these Titans and helping out with FEMA and everything else.
Well, they were doing in the earlier episode, like G-Day, they were literally there just doing research.
Yeah.
They weren't involved. They were staying in the shadows. But in King of the Monsters, yeah, they're helping. They're assisting FEMA and they're helping in relief efforts after Titan attacks. I'll tell you one of the things I would like to see getting back to season 2 and seeing them come back to Monarch. I'd like to see Tim take over Verdugo's position.
That would be fun.
Yeah. I wasn't sure what to think of his character at first, because one thing I think this series has done well is if you have never seen any of the movies at all, and this is your first introduction to things, it's kind of hard to figure out who's good and who's bad. Like who, I mean, who's good as far as Kate and Kentaro, like I feel like that's pretty straightforward. But as far as Apex and Monarch, if this is your first introduction, I think it kind of switches back and forth, and it's hard to know. It's kind of like who's the worst at this time? Well, you're worst, so we're going to go over here. And then
who's
you're
the lesser
worst,
of the two evils right now?
Of the two evils,
Right.
yeah. And I feel like that's kind of what we got this season. I can't imagine that this was people's first introduction to this. If
You'd be surprised.
if it is and you're listening to this podcast, go back and watch the other movies.
I
because
talked
it will help.
I talked about it last week. You know, Mark, I mentioned it to you last week on New Year's Eve. When I was with my friends, my friend TJ approached me and said, like, Monarch is so good. And then he mentioned that he's never seen any of the movies. I was like, well, first off, you need to go watch the movies.
Yeah.
I was like, second off, but that's what makes the show so good, is that it's able to tell this story even for the novice to this universe.
Mm-hmm.
You're able to follow along. And for somebody who has never seen the movies, like you mentioned, Daphne, who doesn't know who's good and who's bad.
Yeah.
We've kind of spoiled it a little bit for anybody who's listening to us. If you've never seen the movies, and apologies for that. Spoiler alert, 9 episodes too long,
Right.
too late. But
when we started covering them on Run for Your Lives, the movies, I'd really only seen Godzilla 2014. Like, that was all I had seen in this Monsterverse. And so pretty quickly I got through all of them because we were trying to get caught up so we could do Godzilla versus Kong. And I didn't realize how good the movies were going to be, because the other Godzilla movie that I had made that was an Americanized, production, I guess, American production, I didn't love it. So
well,
I
feel like we need Matthew Broderick in season 2 as well.
No, let's not.
Dr. Demopoulos, we need you back.
It's Demopoulos. All right, fine. Hank Azaria. I'll settle for Hank Azaria.
Well, if they're going to bring
all right.
If they're going to do a season 2 of Monarch, instead of just Serizawa, they need to get Bradley Whitford back as Dr. Rick Stanton, too.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, yes. Wholeheartedly agree. Absolutely.
Well, there's a number of characters that they could bring back, to kind of tie into the movies if they do a season 2. And a lot of times that's usually what you find with these shows, is season 1 is usually a good test to see what the audience is going to be. And if it's a good audience, they'll kind of up the stakes a little bit in season 2. So we might see Bradley Whitford return. We might see the actor that played Serizawa return. Yeah. And who knows what other surprises we're going to get in a season 2.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sure that they have a pretty big budget, but I also think that it's not an unlimited budget. So they have to be very careful how they spend their money.
And it's also not an Amazon Lord of the Rings budget either.
No.
Yeah, that is true.
No, which is what makes what they did with the effects even bigger, because
sparingly giving us the monsters here and there for certain times is good, and then extending the story and the plot and the drama and the character building.
Yeah.
Well, even the fight, which we haven't even talked about yet, between Godzilla and the Ion Dragon was badass.
Yeah.
It was
like Titan fight in the finale. Hell yeah.
And it's done so well and anticipated so much that even though we saw the trailer and we see this fight happen in the trailer, so we know it's coming, but that moment, man, where like they're like, something's coming down, and we're all like, we know it's Godzilla, but this is going to be, he's about to make a fucking entrance.
Yes.
Yeah.
And it
when
reminded
he
me of
slowly steps out of that rift, man, it's like, yes.
Yeah, it reminded me a lot of, think about the original King Kong and the fight in the underworld and everything. I would say it just reminded me of that, and it's what people wanted. That's exactly what everybody wants at the end of any large monster movie, any kaiju film or Godzilla film or Kong film. They want to see that big monster battle. So we never really got a big monster battle throughout the season, but they ended it, and like they would do in any kaiju movie, put it towards the end.
Yeah, gotta get
it. And the special effects were great. Like it looked like it could have fit in any of the Legendary movies.
Yes.
There was a tiny little bit of me, and I was like, "Is that Rodan?" And I was like, "No, that would have been."
No, I know. I thought the same thing.
First, the wingspan when he first comes up, I was like, "Are they doing that?" And then I was like, "No, it's something different." But it's still cool design. But it's
small.
I feel like that baited you for when Kong came in the end, because you're looking and you're thinking, "Oh, that could be Rodan," and it isn't. And then I was like, "Okay, no, they're not going to do that." And then here comes Kong at the end. I was screaming Kong. Like, I was just so excited.
I will say one
So
of the things I really liked and appreciated as far as storytelling, even with that monster fight, was the use of the Ion Dragon for the fight at the end. Because we talked about this last episode in that, when Hiroshi is blaming Shaw for their legacy starting everything, it was the Ion Dragon. That was the first Titan that they
saw.
That they saw,
ship, yeah.
and what got them, and is what launched Monarch. So for the Ion Dragon to be the Titan that Godzilla fights and defeats, it's kind of like, okay, we just closed this chapter by ripping off his damn wing and tossing him aside.
Yeet.
Yeet. So yeah, I really liked the fact that it was the Ion Dragon that was the fight at the end, because it really bookended this story.
Yeah.
Yeah. Tied it together in
It could have been any Titan.
great way.
Yeah,
But
it could have been.
The use of the Ion Dragon was well done.
It was smart to keep what they have already existing within this universe already and what they've already introduced us to. Because introducing a brand new Titan at this point, like, hold on, here comes Anguillus. Oh, what is this monster?
Right.
It's just out of the blue. It's like, what is this? Oh, I've never seen this before. It looks cool, but that's about it.
It's better to use what we already know.
I did just have a little thought. If we're making little like season 2 wish
Predictions.
lists, not even
Wish
predictions,
lists, yeah.
but just wish lists, like things I want. I mean, if we're moving into the era of King of the Monsters, there are so many great Titans that are in that movie that only get like a couple of frames and just like a little.
Oh,
miniature.
yeah.
Let's start playing with those and get a little bit more of those Titans in season 2 if we can. That would be nice.
Yeah, I agree.
I'm for that, but also at the same time, let's not put too much of a focus on the Titans either.
Right.
I still want to keep the focus on the people.
Yeah.
Because I think
Pick
that's
some of those like the behemoth and stuff that we like. I want to see more of that one, and then
Yeah.
just like,
Yeah, true.
Yeah. Because let's face it, Ben, people want the monsters.
They do.
Like, fans of this series of the Monsterverse want to see monsters.
I'm one of
in
them.
addition to the story.
Same here.
Just be clever about picking which ones that you bring in.
Yeah.
You don't have to bring them all in. We're not going to have a parade.
What I'm
Bring one
surprised
or two in.
what I'm surprised that they didn't do for this show, and for the fact that it is Legacy of Monsters. They have monsters in it. You don't see like any toys coming out of the creatures in any way.
Listeners, this was just an excuse for Mark to show his Godzilla toy on camera.
Yes, I like my Godzilla toys. It's an old NECA that are hard to come by too, by the way.
But you are right. There's no merchandise for this.
Yeah, they could easily, and then the idea of anything, a lot of it, and I've said it before, in Japan, a lot of it went for, in the very beginning, Godzilla was marked as a serious commentary on what happened after the war. Then eventually it led into these kind of like, oh, let's make it a monster movie. And then they started gearing it from like the 60s all the way into the 70s as for kids. They did that in the 80s as well, into the 90s. They could have easily done this. Now they're, the very beginning of this with this particular season is geared more towards, the adults, I would say. I think the kids could easily watch it. There was nothing really terrible about it. Maybe a couple of quote-unquote sexy scenes with May and Kentaro or what have you. But if you look at what they're doing with King of Godzilla X Kong, that's focusing more towards kids and more family fun with the big monster aspect.
It is?
I don't know about that.
I don't know about that either.
Maybe adult children, meaning,
Me?
Yeah, I mean,
I feel like the movies are the bigger opportunities for the merchandise than the television series.
It is.
right.
yeah.
Because nobody's running out to Target or going on Amazon to buy the Kentaro figure.
I know.
You don't want him with his little like artsy flair.
I want the Lee Shaw and the young Lee Shaw dad. So
Now that I would actually get. I would get the dual Lee Shaw figures.
Uh-huh.
I would get that. But the Kentaro figure that comes with the ticket to his art installation, I don't want it.
I have a funny little note in here. I was like, man, Kintaro really shows his artsy side in this episode, where he does the very dramatic behind the door reveal with the sassy flair. You know, Tim, there's the knock at the door, and Hiroshi opens it, and it's Tim, and then he's like, "Wait, don't you want our help? Or we're here to help you?" And he's like, "We," and then Kintaro's like, "Surprise, I'm here."
Was he a magician?
Yeah, that's what I was thinking too.
I just realized too, figures would be
reveal.
Figures would be a bad idea because Hiroshi's pencil shavings are a choking hazard.
Yeah.
Or they get lost in the dirt.
They just get lost the moment you open the package. Aww.
Aw.
Yeah, there they are, and now they're gone. And kids lose everything when it's little pieces that come with toys like this. If it's a kid, they're gonna lose it.
Yeah.
Those little things are gonna be gone. It's just what's gonna happen.
Yeah, but getting back to the fights and everything, of wanting the monster fights too. I think one of the best parts about this was when I was watching that fight between Godzilla and the Ion Dragon, knowing full well this is not nearly the last time we see Godzilla because there are 2, soon to be 3 more movies involving him.
Yeah.
But the moment where the Ion Dragon like vomits that stuff on his face and he's like hurt, like covering his eyes, I'm like, oh no, like wait, I know he survives.
I take
he's
acid
fine.
and raise you. Blah!
Man, that blue tail going up, man, is just
It's amazing.
it's such a cool moment. So, but yeah, the monster fights, the emotions of the reunions, there's so much packed into this finale, and there's so much they could do with the second season.
Yeah.
That I really, really hope we get it soon. Any other I think I've covered pretty much a lot of. We've been jumping around, but I think we've covered almost everything I had in my notes. If anybody else has anything else, please.
I literally had one note left, which is just the idea of Shaw bringing them back to the vessel, the ship, whatever, the thing that they took down, Operation, what was it? Just like left my head, but whatever.
Hold on. I have it.
Hourglass, right?
Operation Hourglass, yes.
And
I literally pulled my notes from last week.
When he takes them back to that, and I like that, just that little, is like, oh my God, it's still full of fuel, and is like, it's been here for like a few weeks, remember?
It's only been a couple weeks.
Yeah. But then, this kind of moment of Keiko being like, I'm staying, I'm not going. And she's, which seems a little over dramatic, but it's still made for a good moment of Kate being the one to like talk her back in and being like, I'm family. I want you. I love you. I need you. Like
this curse ends now.
Yeah. There's something for you.
Yeah.
Which is great. Cause it's like, why would you want to stay there? It's like, yeah, I heard your reasons. You're talking about like, my kid's all grown up and I don't want to just like, she's like really in her feelings, which she's been through a lot. I get it.
Yeah.
But it's like, still, isn't it worse to remain in danger, death, monster world? Like, let's really think about your like well-being for a minute. Like, back to the plain world sounds like a good idea.
Let's talk about that Operation Hourglass. What do you see a connection between that and the Monarch symbol itself? It looks
I did.
Like a side
I thought about that last week and I didn't bring it up. Yeah. I think that's probably why it was named Operation Hourglass, is because the sideways hourglass is the symbol of Monarch.
Yeah.
So I think that's why that was called that. And I did forget to bring that up last week. So Mark, I'm glad you brought that up. So, anybody else?
Theme song is fire.
What's that?
So that theme song, the intro music is fire. It gets stuck in my head every week.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Every week, man, my head is bobbing to it.
Yeah.
And I watched a lot of this series in the last like 3 or 4 days because I was way behind on it. And I think it helped me really get into it more, being able to binge it like I did.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Hopefully there's more viewers in that way that like if it's highly bingeable, that's good to know.
It is. It's hard to stop. That's the thing. And I got to like episode 7 and I was still like a couple days away from this recording. And I didn't want to watch 9 and 10 until I was like, yesterday or today. It was hard to wait because I was too into it. I was so excited.
I'm trying to see how well is this TV series doing in the United States? Found that the audience demand for Monarch Legacy of Monsters is 30.9 times the demand of average TV series. So
Okay.
it's
That's
doing
good.
well.
Yeah.
Yeah, we already spoke about it. It was the most torrented show recently than any
Yeah.
other show.
Which I said is laughable because that's the one thing we didn't have to do since Apple gave us the
I know.
since
Thank
Apple
you,
gave us the streamers.
Thank you, Apple.
Thank
Was
you,
so
Apple.
great.
Change the camera pixels 2 more pixels so you can sell more phones to do season 2.
Oh,
Sorry. Sorry. Sorry, Apple. Please give us screeners for season 2. Anybody else have anything that we haven't brought up or they kind of want to bring up and talk about?
No, again, I really enjoyed the series as a whole, and I'm excited for season 2. There has to be a season 2.
There's
Yeah.
got to be a season 2.
There's
There
gotta
has to
be.
be a season
Yeah.
2.
I would not
It
be
needs
surprised
to happen.
after the release of it. When is it going to be released? On Friday.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I would not be surprised come that day, as soon as it drops, they would give some indication of, yes, we're in the process of writing or maybe, well, they would be in the process of writing because of after the WGA strike. So
I said the same thing. I was like, I would not be surprised if Friday or Saturday we get an announcement of a season 2. Of a renewal.
Definitely.
They're waiting on it. It's probably already been greenlit. They're just waiting to announce it until this season is over.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Because they want that cliffhanger to be out there first.
and
so that
making
when you
people want
hear
it.
so that when you hear season 2, you're like, yes, like, because that's what I wanted after that finale.
Yeah, because it was a cliffhanger, but it was also left our characters in a decent place where you're not worrying about their fate. It's not one of those cliffhangers where someone's hanging off a ledge and you don't know what's going to happen. They've made it back from where they were. And now the story can continue, but we have Kong. Like, I liked this finale. I liked the cliffhanger that they gave us because it's one that settles well with me waiting for season 2.
Yeah, it gives us it. You're right. It doesn't provide us we need to see what happens in the next minute moment. It gives us okay, this is the focus of season 2 now.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It shifts the focus rather than keeps us in immediate suspense.
Yeah.
Right. And I like that because I get too wrapped up in shows that leave you worrying for the fate of characters or drag something out that it really didn't even need to happen. Or in some cases, I feel like series are putting a lot into the episode, the penultimate episode, and then the finale episode is not as strong as like episode 9.
Mhm.
In this case, I feel like it just carried into 9, carried into 10, and was still big. And
Now-
I appreciated that.
I'm going to throw out another crazy theory because it's what I've become known to do during the coverage of this series. What if, because Lee Shaw, dissimilar to Keiko,
Yeah.
we did not see him die.
Mhm.
We just see him fall.
That's what I was thinking originally.
What if
Yeah.
Lee Shaw is alive in Godzilla X Kong?
That'd be interesting.
Could be.
Which then makes people be like, oh, well, now we need to find out how in season 2 of Monarch.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's another thing. Is like if they don't give a season 2 announcement with the actual airing of this finale, then if they hold off till New Empire, Godzilla X Kong, like then it's like, oh, now you want to know more. Now you want to fill in those gaps.
Yep.
I don't think they'll make us wait that long. I really
Mhm.
don't.
No.
And we did get news though that the release of that did get moved up.
Yes.
I think it got moved up a week.
Yeah, it went from April 12th
looking
to
at
March 29th.
Yeah.
So 2 weeks. They moved it up 2 weeks.
Yep.
So I'm looking forward to it. It's only a couple months away.
I like the idea of companion TV series
And
to
then,
go along and Add
Yeah.
to thing. Add
Be
to
looking
the,
forward to Run for
movies.
Your Lives in the future because
Right?
Yes.
not the theatrical. We don't usually do theatrical runs just because we want to make sure enough people get a chance to really see it before we cover it, and then we can watch it and take more notes better. But as soon as it's available digitally, be looking for a Run for Your Lives coverage of that movie. It's gonna happen.
Absolutely.
Well, it's kind of cool that you guys have covered the movies. We're covering the series. So, and having you guys on for the finale is kind of us passing the baton to you for when Godzilla X Kong comes out.
Right.
And then
Yeah,
once you
but-
do your coverage of Godzilla X Kong, that will most likely be before season 2 of Monarch. So either me or Mark can come on to cover that movie, and you can pass the baton right back.
There you go.
That's what I was, you were talking about passing the baton, and I was thinking, well, then why aren't you guys just going to be on for that episode with us?
We had Mark on for King of the Monsters. That was
We
good.
did. So why not just join us for that, and we'll just continue?
Yeah. And then we can wrap up that episode with coverage continues on Wilhelm with Monarch
There you go.
season 2.
Exactly.
Podcastica.
Yeah.
Well, here's a good question. Are you guys going to cover Godzilla -1 when it comes
Yes,
out?
I
Yes.
absolutely want to. It's not in this
Absolutely.
universe, but I haven't seen it yet. I'm holding off
Okay.
now at this
Yeah.
point because I'm like, I've heard it's incredible. And
Yeah.
so now I'm like, I just want to go in fresh once we're covering it. So I'm
Yeah.
excited.
It's
And I
in
think
limited release in the theaters, so that's why I got to see it the first week, and then I don't know if it's still out.
I've heard really good things about it from friends that have seen it that recommended it.
I
for the
recommend it.
podcast.
It's just as I said it before in the podcast. I had a little few nitpicks, but that's just me being a Godzilla fan. And even Ben said it. He goes, "You guys were like tearing it apart," and we weren't really. I was just nitpicks on my end. That was it.
Well, I mean, the estimated digital release date is for sometime in the beginning or mid-February. So
Yeah.
it's around the corner that you guys will be able to cover it.
Yeah.
There you go.
So, but you know what? Speaking of your podcast, Run for Your Lives, since I think we're pretty much done our coverage of the season finale of Monarch, before we let you guys go, and Mark and I kind of take our little break before we cover feedback, tell people about Run for Your Lives, where they can find it, what you guys have going on. This is your time. Plug away.
And
Somebody go first.
You can find us at runforyourlivespodcast.com. All the links are there to, listen to the episode. Our social media is there as well. This last week, we published an episode on The Purge. And this week in particular, we are going to be releasing an episode on Megan.
Which I've never seen, but now I need to watch before I
M3gan.
listen.
Yeah.
M3gan.
Yeah. So I think actually by the time this is out, that the Megan episode will be up, so people can go check that out. That'll be the most recent. So yeah. So I mean, we're here on the Podcastica network. If you're listening to this on the House Podcastica feed, if you're a Wilhelm fan, I'm sure I've been on Wilhelm before.
So is Daphne and Mark. Yep.
Yep.
So so but if you're newer or haven't checked us out, Run for Your Lives over on the Podcastica network. Just a movie podcast where we cover monster movies, creature features, disaster flicks, horror films, slashers, anything that fits within this realm of stuff that makes you run for your lives, as we like to say. So,
and sometimes movies that just are adjacent and don't quite fit under the umbrella. We pull
sometimes
them
like
in
this movie
anyway.
doesn't fit, but I want to talk about it anyway. We make our own rules.
That's
Now,
what we do.
will you also cover movies where it's not where you're running for your life in the movie, but you're running from your you're running for your life away from the theater because the movie is that bad?
Only in one instance have we done that, but it actually fit both. There was like a Venn diagram thing. 'Cause we did cover The Happening a while back.
And Thanksgiving.
Thanks, Gilly.
The Happening.
But there's a movie that you guys did cover that it is actually its anniversary today, which is January 10th, 2024. It's 27 years ago that The Relic came out.
Oh, we haven't covered it yet.
Oh, I
We
thought
have
you guys
not
did cover
covered
it.
The Relic yet. No.
Oh.
Way to go,
There's-
Mark, sharing misinformation.
Yeah, well, his sense of feedback too.
There's so many
Fake
movies.
news.
There are so many movies that we have covered, But then there are so many that we haven't. So we're just, we continually add new movies to the list all the time.
And hey, it's the one place you can go to if you ever want to hear somebody do word for word President Whitmore's speech from the Independence Day.
Yes.
With music behind it and all.
Which got us a ding on YouTube.
Yep.
Did it really?
Yeah.
Oh, son of a bitch. Sorry.
But we don't care.
That's fine.
We don't care. It's wonderful.
It was still out on the feed. It got you dinged on YouTube.
Yeah.
Just on the YouTube version.
Yeah.
Whoops. Didn't think about that.
We didn't either, obviously.
But Pake and Daphne, thank you guys so much for coming on. We knew we had to have you guys on to talk about the series at some point, and I think the finale was the perfect time.
Yeah.
Oh, absolutely. That's the first thing I said. I thought of after watching the finale is this is the perfect episode for us to come on for.
Yeah. You had resolutions, emotional reunions, Kong and an Ion Dragon fight, and Godzilla and an Ion Dragon fight, and Kong. Yeah.
Yeah.
Kong.
I mean, what we do best on our podcast, if I pat myself on the back, is like the great monster creature feature moments, and then like the character arcs. That's what we like to talk about. So we got a lot of that payoff.
We did. Yeah.
Yeah. So, all right. Well, I mean, again, thank you guys so much for joining us for this episode.
Thanks for having us.
Yeah.
And I'm sure once season 2 comes around, which look, it's going to happen. It
has to happen.
You guys will be right back on for season 2.
Yep.
Awesome. We'd love to.
All right. Let's get to some feedback for this finale episode. I'm sure some people have hopefully have some good stuff to say because we enjoyed it.
Yeah.
We enjoyed the episode. As we mentioned earlier in the conversation, this is a separate segment. Mark and I are actually, Pake and Daphne have actually left the recording at this point as we're recording this a couple days later. And as we were hoping, or as we thought and predicted, there's still no news yet of a season 2 for Monarch.
Nope.
The showrunner apparently has come out and said he is very hopeful because the show did extremely well for Apple. So they are hopeful there's going to be a season 2, and they have ideas for a season 2 already, which look, the way they left it, they had to have.
Oh, yeah. I wouldn't be surprised they even started the story and script idea for the first episode. So
start storyboarding it now, gentlemen. Because I think it's only a matter of time before we're going to get that season 2.
Present it away for the fact that, you already have another Godzilla movie coming out anyway.
Yeah.
In the near future.
Will it into existence.
Make it happen. Make it so.
Yeah. Get writing and just put it out in the world that we want a season 2 of Monarch.
Yes.
All right. So our first piece of feedback is very short, comes to us via Facebook, and is from Adam Buckley. Adam, who I know has been listening to the podcast, says, when they said one coming through, I thought it's going to be Godzilla, and boom, there he is in all his glory. Loved it and can't wait to hear your podcast, so I hear all the bits that I missed. Well, hopefully we covered a lot of it for you, Adam, in our coverage of it.
Yeah, and thanks for listening.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, thank you for that. So that leaves us to our 2 voicemails that we have, and they both come from 2 people who have left us consistent feedback all season. That's Sam and Steve. So let's go ahead and play those, starting first with Sam.
Hi, it's Sam. We're at the end of the first season. I am happy to eat my words. The ending was pretty great. I gotta say, you guys were right about all the twists and the insights. And I mean, not the, Khaleesi Keiko Beetle Queen, but I think you guys were spot on about so many different things, and it was really wonderful to see it play out in the episode. And it was just really, really fantastically done. I mean, from start to finish, we hit the ground running in the beginning with a really brutal first 15 minutes for poor Keiko. I mean, it really seemed as bad as I was fearing it would be. And Mari Yamamoto as Keiko Randa is truly phenomenal actress. I think like this episode, at least for me, I got to see her really stretch her talents and her skills, and she shined. I mean, I was riveted by her performance this entire episode. I mean, she stole the episode for me, except for Godzilla. That's kind of impossible to do. But she really just did a truly fantastic job for me, at least conveying hope of hearing Lee, and then vulnerability and grief and sadness and shock, and then even more complexity, like when she was looking at Lee of like, oh, it is you, like she can see that. Or when she's looking at Kate and she has this little like tilt of her head and like some curiosity and affection and love, like, you know, is she trying to look and see if she can see Hiroshi in Kate's features? And it was just really beautifully done. And I mean, this actress is phenomenal. She's probably my favorite character in this series. And it was just really, really great. And narratively, I thought the writers tied everything together in a really wonderful way of, you know, finishing Lee Shaw's story of, you know, he finally accomplished that mission that Puckett assigned to him all those decades ago of protect Keiko. And he did. I mean, he must have felt, you know, guilt and loss of letting her fall before and not finding her when he went to Hollow Earth. And at this time in this episode 10, he fulfills his mission. He gets her back home. He protects Keiko and gets her back to where she should be with Hiroshi, back on our side of Earth. And, you know, when he said, he's like, thank you for everything. And I think he had this wonderful life with Keiko and Bill and Hiroshi, where they were adventurers. They were, you know, looking for monsters and blowing up rocks and all the time having a family and having connection. And if this is how his character goes out, I think it's a pretty wonderfully narratively done story. I mean, I wouldn't be mad to see Wyatt or Kurt Russell in season 2, and I'm okay if we don't see them again. For me, I think it was pretty good. You know, maybe Wyatt could have like some, you know, cameos, because we have a whole bunch of years in there that when they were monster hunting that could be explored, but I find it necessary for me. I think it's a good ending. And, you know, they had the Ion Dragon coming in as the big bad for the last episode. And that makes sense because the Ion Dragon attacking the USS Lawton is what kickstarted Bill Randa's whole quest to find Hollow Earth, to investigate the monsters, to do all this stuff. And his passion is what brought the genius of Keiko and, you know, the military connection and charm of Lee Shaw, and all three of them came together and created Monarch. Even Kay says, like, it's the three of us that did it. So it was pretty great narratively to tie it all in together. And I am curious of, you know, Kong being so mad and Apex. When we saw Apex and Dominique Tupper's character, I can't remember her name, in May's flashback episode, she was experimenting on monkeys. So I'm wondering if the Scar King, which is our main antagonist for the summer movie, I'm guessing from the trailers, I wonder if Apex was also experimenting on Kong's species during this time from 2017 to whatever the year is that the new Empire movie comes out. So I would be curious if maybe there's a connection in there. Maybe we'll see some of the characters later on. Still stick by my tinfoil hat theory that Tim is the long lost son of Bill Randa, because he walks in, he sees Hiroshi watching the video, which is another great callback to that. And he's just kind of like looking at it. And even Hiroshi's like, I appreciate your dedication to keeping my dad's story alive, his legacy alive. It's like, that's because you share a dad, sir. So I'm hoping you guys will podcast on the movie when it comes out this summer, please. I think it'll be great. Thanks.
First off, we're not going to podcast on the movie here on Wilhelm or House Podcastica, but as you have probably heard in the conversation with Pake and Daphne, they're absolutely going to cover it and Run for Your Lives, and either myself or Mark or both of us are going to be with them when they cover it. So we are going to cover the movie, but it's just not going to be on this podcast. It's going to be on Run for Your Lives. a lot of great stuff in there too. And I was taking mental notes as I was listening to the whole thing. And of course, now I forgot half of the things that I made mental notes for. The whole not seing Keiko, mother of beetles. Look, we knew that was
far-fetched.
But as far as Apex being on Skull Island because they experimented with monkeys in the past, I absolutely believe that's why Apex was at Skull Island.
I believe that, but as far as them experimenting on any of Kong-related apes, the only one that they knew at that time, during that time, was Kong.
Yeah.
So they haven't found, unless the Scar King that you think of is something that they experimented on when it was young, but we already know from trailers and everything else, the Scar King's been around a long, long time. So I would say Apex's interest in the monkeys and everything is very much valid. But and on top of that, Kong being pissed off is really because they invaded Skull Island and his turf.
Well, and everything that I know of Kong and Kong Skull Island, I think Kong's first time ever in Hollow Earth is Godzilla versus Kong.
It is.
Because he's been on the surface the entire time. I mean, that's why it's called Skull Island. That's where he lives. He's not like Godzilla or the Ion Dragon and goes back and forth between the two worlds. He is a Titan of our world.
Yeah, and only that island. You could see it on his face during the Godzilla versus Kong movie. At how the amazement of it, and then when he does see the throne for the first time, and then picking up because it's literally his family heritage.
Well, and that's just it. I think the Scar King or whatever his name is, or whatever it's going to be. I'm of the ilk too that I believe these are two separate worlds. Just as Kong had never been to Hollow Earth before, Scar King had never been to our Earth.
Yeah, he was never on the surface at all.
I think Godzilla X Kong. Yeah, and I think Godzilla X Kong will be his first time ever coming to our Earth. So but again, like going back to Apex being at Skull Island, I firmly believe that's why they are there, is because they were experimenting on monkeys, and then all of a sudden they find out that there is a Titan that is a primate.
Yeah.
So what better Titan to experiment on than a primate, because that's what we've been testing
and to possibly control and weaponize.
Exactly.
Yeah,
exactly. But thank you, Sam, for the feedback, not just for tonight, but for every episode that you left us.
Yes, very much appreciated.
And definitely leave feedback for the movie when we cover it on Run for Your Lives too. Check out sometime after the movie releases. Just follow Run for Your Lives and keep an eye out on their social medias, and you'll see them post when we're all going to be covering the movie. And leave your feedback then too. Let them know what you thought of the movie. But that leaves us to our final piece of feedback for the season. That, of course, comes from our friend Steve Brown. Let's see what he had to say.
Hello, Ben and Mark. This is Steve, and this is for the season finale of Monarch, Legacy of Monsters. Whoa. Kate meeting her grandmother for the first time, and she's not much older than she is. Again, the subtitles for the Japanese go by way too fast. Or maybe I'm just a slow reader. Oh, okay. I didn't realize that May fell through also. So now we just need to find Lee. Oh, okay. She just said 57 days, and it's been 30 some odd years. Wow. That's a big ratio difference there. Okay. That he just confirmed it. It's not, they weren't there for hours. They were there for about a week or so. But how much of that week does he remember? Oh, this actress playing Keiko is really good. I mean, I'm feeling emotional. Right with her. Wow. Meanwhile, back at Monarch, Tim is limping. He's alive. Wow. But he wants to, investigate the signal that somebody is sending from under Earth, under space, inner space. No, not underworld, whatever. And the woman, I don't remember her name, is worried about all the Titan activity because there could possibly be multiple emergence. That's what I'm predicting is going to happen. We're going to have multiple Titan emergence by the end of this episode. The other interesting cliffhanger that we might get at the end of this is how long are they going to be down there? Because, right, time is passing slower for them than it is up. My head's going to explode. Oh, there he is. Now he's talking about Kong Skull Island with Kiko and telling her what happened to Bill. Did he die? Or I don't remember. You guys talked about that. I need to watch Skull Island again. TVs and gadgets are everywhere. That's his summary of the future to Keiko. Hey, forgive me. They've been speaking Japanese, not Chinese. I think I've said Chinese the whole time. Japanese subtitles are going by way too fast. Wait, if the vehicle that Shaw and his team were in is still here, how did Shaw get back? Oh, Keiko doesn't want to leave. But Kate convinces her to go anyway. Nice. Oh, they lured a couple of Titans, all right. We better get back in that vessel. Oh, it just bit Godzilla's neck, and now Godzilla's throwing it around like a rag doll. So they're back, but how many years have passed? Because this looks like another Monarch facility. Oh, this is Apex. Oh, and did he just say 2 years has been passed? Oh, and they are on Skull Island, because I think that thing just said Apex Skull Island something. Oh, and we have Kong. Wow. Okay. Next season.
Yeah.
I love when Steve leaves his live Stevings because he asks questions along the way that he eventually answers himself.
Yes.
As he
doesn't need
progresses
us.
through. Yeah, it's fun.
But it's not inner space. We didn't see Dennis Quaid or Martin Short in this. So
I love that movie, by the way.
same here.
I love that movie. Meg Ryan, Dennis Quaid, and Martin Short.
Robert Picardo is amazing.
That's right. Robert Picardo is what is his character's name in that movie?
Something like the cowboy.
The cowboy. That is it. Yep. That's right. I forgot. That's what it was. That's a great movie. I need to rewatch that at some point.
Remember Josie Vales?
God, yeah, I need to rewatch that again at some point. But thank you, Steve, for that feedback as well. And hey, look, no more coverage of Monarch until season 2. However, if you have thoughts on any of the conversation from this episode about the finale that you kind of want to address with us, please feel free to leave feedback even now afterwards. Because even though we're not covering Monarch any longer because we've gotten to the season finale, Wilhelm and House Podcastica still continue on. So,
yes,
with new episodes. So please feel free, if you have thoughts about our conversation about the finale, something you agree with strongly or disagree with, continue to leave us feedback, and we will absolutely read it on future episodes, whether it be Wilhelm or House Podcastica. Easiest way to do that, just send it to us directly, feedback@wilhelmpodcast.com. And if we get enough of it, we'll address it either on social media or somehow through the podcast.
Yeah.
But yeah, so that's pretty much it for the Monarch coverage for now.
For now.
At least.
Yeah.
At the very least, we know we've got another movie coming in Godzilla X Con, which we've talked about already, which will be covered on Run for Your Lives. But the Monarch coverage is going to take a break until season. We're going to get a season 2. I'm still fully convinced that we're going to get the season 2.
Put it past them that they wouldn't jump on it based upon its popularity.
Yeah.
They just have to finalize it now that we're out of the strikes and everything else around that WGA and the SAG-AFTRA. They have the opportunity and ability right now. It's just funding.
Yeah, exactly. Tell the people, Mark, where they can find you, because I know you jumped here on Wilhelm and House Podcastica to cover this with me, but after this you go back to your own thing. So
yes,
we want to make sure both Wilhelm listeners and House Podcastica listeners know where to find you. So tell the people one more time what you got going on and where they can find you.
Well, it's easy to find me. I do Panels to Pixels podcast. I can be found on any podcast player of choice. Easily found on Facebook, facebook.com/Panels to Pixels. We're basically in the middle of doing What If Season 2. Coming up would be The Losers. I keep talking about it, and I have it recorded. I just have to edit it and get it out. But after that will be Flash Gordon, our a coverage on the old 1981, 82 movie that had Sam Gene Jones in it. We'll be covering everything else that is comic book adapted to film or TV. Probably do Echo as a whole for the season as a whole. Other than that, just keep apprised by going to facebook.com/panels to pixels. You can also find me on Adrenaline Cinema Podcast. Don't have anything currently in the works, but we do everything that's action, adventure, fantasy, film, basically thriller, suspense, anything that gets your adrenaline going. We just cover those films. So, look out for Adrenaline Cinema Podcast on Facebook at, facebook.com/Adrenaline Cinema Podcast, or just go to piratecoreentertainment.com and you can find the links.
Nice. Easiest way. If you are a Wilhelm listener, Wilhelm subscriber, I encourage you to go over to Podcastica.com and check out all of the great stuff that they have over there. As it was known from the beginning, this Monarch coverage was a joint venture in both Wilhelm, my Wilhelm podcast, and the House Podcastica podcast over at Podcastica. So if you're a Wilhelm subscriber, I encourage you to go over Podcastica. Go over to Podcastica.com. Sometimes my tongue moves faster than my mouth, and I get tongue-tied. But again, there's so much over there. You've got the Marvel TV podcast, which has covered most of the Marvel shows and is currently right now covering Echo. We mentioned Pake and Daphne on Run for Your Lives. Our friend Randy has the new Welcome to the Apocalypse podcast, which is a complete... It's so good. It's a completely improvised podcast, which is great. And it's a story podcast, which is new to Podcastica. They're actually telling a story as they go through, and it's all improvised and made up as they go along. It's a lot of fun. You've got Jason and Daphne covering Squid Game on Squid Game Cast. Penny is covering Buffy on Buffyverse podcast. There's, of course, Cast of Us / the Cast of Us is what it's called now. It's not Walking Dead Cast anymore. Kristen and I covering Ted Lasso over in Revisited, which is another joint Podcastica / Wilhelm podcast that's ongoing, and so many other podcasts. Strange indeed. Just Podcastica.com one more time. Go over there and check it out.
Yep.
If you're a Podcastica listener, I encourage you to check out my podcast, Wilhelm. WilhelmPodcast.com, easiest way to find everything there. Now that this Monarch coverage is ending, we're diving into brand new episodes of the Wilhelm podcast, including new top 5 episodes, panel interviews, celebrity interviews, debates. I think the next episode you'll probably hear after this is our best of 2023 episode. Then we've got a number of top 5 episodes. I've got a number of interviews already lined up, including people like Dante Basco and Mark Summers. And so those are going to be coming out. Lots of new content coming out over the course of the next couple weeks. So WilhelmPodcast.com. Go over and subscribe and just show some love to the other one that you're not a part of. That's basically it. And of course, all of Mark's great stuff too. Show some love there as well.
Thanks.
Special thanks before we wrap this up. Of course, one more thank you to Apple and Apple TV for allowing us to cover this series, sending us the screeners so that we had advanced copy of it. Thank you to Daphne and Pake for joining us. Thank you to Rob Moda for coming on earlier this season. Thank you to Jason for allowing this to be a part of Podcastica as well as Wilhelm. And Mark, of course, thank you to you for coming on Wilhelm for the past 9 weeks.
That's fine.
And doing this.
I enjoy it.
It's fine.
I love doing it. So it's fine.
Well, I knew Godzilla was your wheelhouse. So,
you would go figure I would actually have a Godzilla podcast, but I don't. I am a huge fan, but I leave that in Daphne and Pake's, their line of work. But I'm a good listener, and I love listening to other people talk about it. I wouldn't even know where to venture. But when it comes to the show, the show for Monarch, it was it was fun to do because this was all new to me. I'm not rehashing and going over older Godzilla movies or anything like that. But I look forward to see what they have to do with when they do Godzilla X Kong. Definitely when they cover Godzilla -1, see what their opinions are about that. So I highly recommend everybody else check that out when they come back.
Cool. And last but not least, thank you, of course, to everybody who listened over the course of our coverage of this over the past 9 weeks. Covering a television show on a weekly basis is something Wilhelm has never done before. So this was a new venture. This was something I really wanted to try, and I had a lot of fun doing it.
Mm-hmm.
And I know we're not jumping immediately into another show coverage, but I know that I already know what the next show Wilhelm will be covering is, and that is the Fallout television series releasing to Amazon Prime April 12th. So it's got an amazing cast in Chris Parnell. Michael Emerson from Lost. Why is his name Walton Goggins? Jeez, I can't. God, I forget Walton Goggins. Walton Goggins, Michael Emerson, Chris Parnell. It's got an amazing cast to it. I'm really looking forward to it. I don't know who's going to be joining me on that coverage yet, and I also don't know if it's going to be a joint Podcastica thing, just like this Monarch coverage was. But for sure, Wilhelm will be covering Fallout when it begins April 12th. So if you're a fan of the show, or if you're interested in the show and you want to follow along with our coverage, just know we'll be covering it. Any final notes from you, Mark, before we wrap this up and head on out of here?
Nope, none at all. But I would like to encourage everybody, if you enjoyed what we did here and you have friends or family or anybody else that have been watching Monarch and are unfamiliar with the podcast, please, word of mouth is the best way, and then just try to get them hooked on it so that they know what we have already done and completed, and they could do it as a rewatch and listen along as well. That's good advice. And I'll also say as well too, if you enjoyed the coverage, whether you're a Wilhelm listener or a House Podcastica listener, it means the world to either myself or Jason when it comes to Wilhelm or House Podcastica or Podcastica. If you enjoyed the coverage, leave us a review. Go online and let us know what you think of the podcast, because those reviews really help the podcast to get noticed by new people and new listeners. Yes. So whether you're listening on Apple or on Spotify or on Google or Amazon, wherever it is you listen, if you have the ability, go online, leave a review for the podcast. Even if you're just giving it a star review and not writing anything, those reviews greatly help us out. So I would say word of mouth, as Mark said, and reviews. Those are our final two pieces those are our final two requests before we get out. So then, with that being said, Mark, thank you again one more time for joining me for these past 9 weeks. It won't be the last time we podcast together. That's for sure. Very true. Yeah, but also thank you for having me on too.
Of course. Like I said, you were the first person when I had in mind when it was coming to doing something Godzilla. So, but with that being said, thank you for listening. Whether it was this week or the entire coverage or before it, even everything, thank you for continuing to listen if you do so, which we hope you do. But until next time, we'll see you guys on another episode of Wilhelm or House Podcastica, whichever one you're listening to. Hopefully it's both now, but we'll see you guys on another episode. Take care.
Bye-bye, everybody.